Gentlemen, have you ever wondered if there are simple phrases that could have an unbelievable impact on your wife? Words that not only make you special in her eyes again, but can actually rebuild a relationship that's grown cold. Making your wife desire you the way she did when you first got married? Here's the problem. Most men our age think those kinds of words no longer work at this stage of life. And if we're being honest, many of us haven't used phrases like these since we said, "I do." We've come to accept that our wives are no longer interested. We blame it on hormones, menopause, or simply the years that have gone by. But that's the biggest mistake a man can make. Because when you ignore this issue, you're not just giving up on your marriage. You're giving up on your own quality of life. You're letting the best years you have left slip away. Years when you and your wife could be enjoying closeness, intimacy, and a deeper connection than ever before. I'm Dr. Sarah Brown. In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 specific phrases and then explain why these words have extraordinary power to awaken desire in a woman. And most importantly, I'll show you exactly how to say them so they actually work. Not just empty words, not just going through the motions, but saying them in a way that lets your wife feel the sincerity and depth coming straight from your heart. However, before we delve into those phrases, it's essential to understand what's truly happening in a woman's body and mind after the age of 50. Because when you understand this, your words won't just be words. They'll be the key that unlocks her heart. As women transition through their 40s and into their 50s, their bodies undergo profound changes. These aren't things they can control. It's the natural process of the body. And if you don't understand this, you'll never really understand why your wife has changed. Estrogen is the most important hormone for women. It affects everything, from mood to bone health, and especially sexual desire. But after age 45, estrogen levels in a woman's body can drop by as much as 65%. Think about that for a moment. Her body is losing more than half of its most important hormone. At the same time, progesterone drops sharply too. This is the hormone that helps balance mood and creates feelings of calm. When it decreases, women become more anxious, more easily stressed. And here's something you might not know. Even testosterone in women decreases. That's right. Women have testosterone too, and it's the hormone that drives their sexual desire. So when all 3 of these hormones drop at the same time, what happens? Your wife's body starts responding in ways you may have noticed but didn't understand. Between 50 and 80% of women over 50 experience vaginal dryness. This isn't just uncomfortable. It's actually painful during intimacy. Every time you're close, instead of feeling comfortable and pleasurable, she feels pain, and gradually, she starts avoiding it. Not because she doesn't love you, but because her body is telling her that it hurts. And when desire decreases, when intimacy becomes painful, your wife starts losing her confidence. But the problem doesn't stop with the physical. There's the psychological factor, too. Our society puts tremendous pressure on women about aging. They constantly see images of young, beautiful women on TV, in magazines, and on social media, and they compare themselves to those images. They worry about their appearance. They worry about their weight. They worry whether they're still good enough. And there's another issue. Many women at this age are still taking care of children, maybe aging parents, while also working. They're exhausted. They're burned out. All of this combines to create a deep feeling that many women never voice. It's the feeling that they're no longer attractive. The feeling that they're no longer good enough. The feeling that they're no longer the woman their husband fell in love with. So what's the solution? Do you think it's medication? Do you think it's expensive supplements? No. Of course, those things can help physically. But there's something far more powerful, something no pill can replace. It's how you speak to your wife. Your words have the power to heal, to rebuild her confidence, to awaken the desire she thought was gone forever. And now, I'm going to show you exactly what those words are. The first phrase you need to say to your wife is, "You're still the most beautiful woman in the world to me." Sounds simple, doesn't it? But let me explain why this phrase matters so much to a woman. Research shows that 90% of women over 50 lose confidence in their appearance. They look in the mirror and see the changes. They compare themselves to how they looked in the past. And they wonder if their husband still finds them attractive. This is a silent worry that most women never speak out loud. And here's what you need to know. When a woman feels confident about her appearance, her sexual desire can increase by 300%. I'm not making this up. This comes from research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. Confidence is the key. But your wife doesn't just need to hear you say it. She needs to feel that you mean it. When your wife receives a sincere compliment, her brain releases dopamine. At the same time, oxytocin is released too. This makes her feel closer to you. And here's something else. When she feels valued, the cortisol in her body goes down. And you know what? Stress is the biggest enemy of sexual desire. But here's the most important part. You can't be vague about it. If you just say, "You still look good," that's not enough. It sounds like you're just saying what you're supposed to say. You need to be specific. You need to tell her what actually makes her beautiful to you. For example, instead of saying, "You still look good," say something like, "Your smile just now made my heart skip a beat, just like the first time I saw you," or "The way you tucked your hair behind your ear just reminded me why I fell in love with you at first sight." Compliment her eyes, specifically, her smile, the way she moves. And most importantly, mean it when you say it. The second phrase is, "I want to understand how you're feeling." 80% of women feel their husbands don't understand them. They feel lonely inside their own marriage. They have worries, fears, and changes happening in their bodies that they don't know how to share. And when they have no one to share with, they close themselves off. And along with that, they close off physically, too. For women, emotional safety leads to physical openness. They can't separate the two. If she doesn't feel safe sharing her emotions with you, she won't be able to open up to you physically either. Research shows that when a husband truly listens to his wife, their level of intimacy increases. But listening here doesn't mean offering solutions. We men often make this mistake. Our wife shares a problem, and we immediately want to fix it. But that's not what she needs. She just needs someone to listen, someone to validate her feelings, someone to create a safe space where she can be herself. I remember a man named Robert. He came to see me and said his wife hadn't wanted to be intimate with him for 2 years. He thought it was just age. But when I talked to his wife, she said, "He never asks me how I feel. He just wants to fix everything." So how do you say it? Don't ask what's wrong. That question sounds defensive. Instead, say, "What's on your mind? I'm here to listen, not to judge." When she talks, don't interrupt. Don't rush to offer solutions. Just listen. Nod. Touch her hand. Let her know you're really there with her. That's all she needs. The third phrase is, "Being with you matters more than anything else." This phrase completely changes the perspective on intimacy. Most men focus on the outcome. They focus on completing the act. But for women, especially after 50, the outcome isn't what matters. What matters is the connection. The feeling of being loved, being valued, being close. 70% of women over 50 have performance anxiety during intimacy. They worry they're not good enough. They worry their body doesn't respond like it used to. They worry they're disappointing you. And all these worries create pressure. But when you tell her that being with her is what matters most, you're removing all that pressure. You're telling her she doesn't need to prove anything. She doesn't need to be perfect. Just her being there with you is enough. Science shows that at this stage of life, oxytocin becomes more important than testosterone. Oxytocin is the hormone released when we feel close to someone, when we hold each other, when we touch each other gently. Emotional intimacy leads to physical intimacy. When women feel emotionally connected, their bodies naturally want to connect physically. There's fascinating research on slow intimacy. This research shows that when couples take their time, focusing on connection rather than the outcome, their satisfaction doubles. Especially for women. They don't need fast, they need to feel. They need to know you're there for her, not just for some end goal. So how do you practice this? Don't focus on finishing. Instead, spend time holding her without expecting anything to follow. Caress her. Massage her shoulders, her back, her feet without any strings attached. Spend 20 minutes each day just connecting emotionally and physically, but without any expectations. When you do this, you're creating a safe space. And in that space, her desire will naturally awaken. The fourth phrase is, let's discover new ways to love each other. You know what I see destroying more marriages than almost anything? Clinging to the past. We remember the early days. We remember how things used to be. And we expect everything to stay that way forever. But that's not how life works. Bodies change. Circumstances change. Needs change. And if we don't change along with them, that's where we fall short. This phrase has special power. It doesn't place blame. It doesn't compare to the past. Instead, it says, we're in this together. This is a journey for two people, not just one, and that makes all the difference. There's fascinating research about the brain. When we experience something new, our brain releases dopamine. That's why couples who try new things together feel closer to each other. Their brains are recreating that feeling from when they first fell in love. Novelty doesn't just make life more interesting. It actually awakens desire. But here's what's crucial. You can't force it. If you say, let's try this as a demand or pressure, she'll feel pushed into something. Instead, you need to invite her. You need to create a space where she feels safe to explore. Say something like, I read that a lot of couples feel closer when they change the timing of intimacy. Like mornings instead of evenings. What do you think? Or, I heard that changing the environment, trying different rooms in the house, can bring a sense of newness. Want to try it together? Ask questions. Listen to her thoughts. This isn't about what you want. This is about what you both can discover together. I once worked with a couple, both 58 years old. They hadn't been intimate in 18 months. The husband felt desperate. But when I dug deeper, I discovered they'd been doing everything exactly the same way for 30 years. Same time, same way, same place. I advised them to start with small changes. Read books about intimacy together. Try different ways of touching each other. Change the time of day. That's all it took. The fifth phrase is, your health is my number one priority. Let me be straight with you. If your wife isn't healthy, no words in the world can create desire. Health and sexual desire are directly connected. But many women neglect their own health. They spend their whole lives taking care of others, taking care of the kids, aging parents, and their husbands. And they forget about themselves. When you tell her that her health is your number one priority, you're sending a powerful message. You're saying, I care about you. Not just because I want something, but because I want you to be healthy and happy. And that's the kind of love women crave most. Research from Harvard University shows that when women exercise regularly, their testosterone levels increase by 40%. A healthy diet improves blood flow, which is critically important for arousal and pleasure. And sleep quality is directly connected to the quality of your intimate life. When someone gets enough sleep, their hormones are more balanced, their mood is better, and desire naturally increases. But there's something even more important. Many women over 50 have hormonal issues they don't even know about. They just think it's aging. They don't realize there are medical solutions that can help. Hormone replacement therapy, vaginal moisturizers, specific vitamins, and minerals. All of these can make a huge difference. So what do? Don't just talk about it. Take action. Invite her to go to the gym with you. Cook healthy meals together. Encourage her to get regular checkups. Show her you really care, not because you want to improve your sex life, but because you want her to live a healthy, happy life. The sixth phrase is, "Let me do something special for you today." I want to share with you a concept from Dr. Gary Chapman. He calls it the 5 love languages. One of those languages is acts of service. For many women, this is how they feel love most clearly. Not through words, not through gifts, but through the things you do for them. Think about this. Your wife has spent her entire life serving the family, cooking, cleaning, taking care of everyone. She's exhausted, not just physically tired, but mentally exhausted too. Psychologists call this the mental load. It's having to think about hundreds of little things every single day. Who needs to see the doctor? What's left in the fridge? Which bills need to be paid? All of this builds up and creates tremendous stress. And here's what you need to understand deeply. For women, relaxation leads to arousal. They can't feel desire when their mind is full of worries and tasks. A woman's brain needs to be freed from stress before it can focus on intimacy. There's psychological research on the principle of reciprocity. When someone does something kind for us without expecting anything in return, we naturally want to give back. But it has to be genuine. If you do something hoping to get something back, your wife will sense it, and it'll backfire. So, what can you do? Very simple things. Wash the dishes after dinner without being asked. Give her a foot massage after a long day without expecting anything next. Make her breakfast on the weekend. Write a brief note expressing your appreciation for what she does. Put a surprise bouquet of flowers on the table. These things sound small, but they say something big. You matter to me. I see you. I value you. Let me tell you about Michael, 63 years old. He complained to me that his wife was always too tired for intimacy. I asked him, "What are you doing to help her be less tired?" He went silent. He had no answer. I advised him to spend 2 weeks doing one small thing each day to help his wife, without saying a word about it. Just do it. After 10 days, his wife hugged him and cried. She said, "You have no idea how much this means to me. I feel loved and cared for after all these years of marriage." And now, the 7th phrase. The last one, but perhaps the most important. I'm grateful for you every single day. I've worked with thousands of couples, and I can tell you one thing. Gratitude is the foundation of every happy marriage, but not the generic kind of gratitude. I'm talking about specific, deep gratitude that's expressed regularly. Researchers at the Gottman Institute followed thousands of couples over decades. They discovered something remarkable. Couples who regularly express gratitude to each other have 85% higher satisfaction in their marriage compared to couples who don't. And interestingly, they also have much better intimate lives. Why is that? When a person feels appreciated, their brain releases a cascade of positive chemicals. Serotonin increases, making them feel happy. oxytocin is released, creating feelings of bonding. And cortisol, the stress hormone, drops significantly. A person who feels appreciated is likely to feel happy. And a happy person is someone who can love and give more. Yet so many of us live with a complaining attitude. We see what the other person isn't doing. We focus on the shortcomings. And the more we focus on negative things, the more negative things we see. That's how the brain works. What we pay attention to grows. But when you start practicing gratitude, something miraculous happens. You start seeing good things you never noticed before. You see how your wife still takes care of the family even though she's exhausted. She's always there when you need her. The little sacrifices she makes every day that nobody notices. And when you start seeing these things, you start loving her more deeply. And she feels that love. Here's a tip. Don't say "I'm grateful for you" in a vague way. Be specific. Say things like, "I'm grateful for how patient you were with my mother yesterday when she was sick. I know that wasn't easy, but you did it with so much love. That means the world to me." Or, "I'm grateful for the way you always listen to me after stressful days at work. You don't realize how much that means to me." Here's what I recommend. Every night before bed, tell your wife 3 things you're grateful for about her that day. Not big things, just the small, everyday things. If you do this for 30 days, I guarantee your relationship will change. You'll see your wife with new eyes, and she'll feel that she's loved, valued, and appreciated. And that's the foundation for all intimacy. Today, you've spent 20 minutes here with me. That says a lot about you. It says you care, that you still love your wife, that you're willing to learn, willing to change. And that's the most beautiful thing I see in you. And I want to tell you something. No matter where you are in your marriage right now, no matter how many years have passed in silence, no matter how wide the distance between you seems, it's never too late, because you already have what matters most. You have love. You have the desire. And now, you have the knowledge. You know what to say. You understand the psychology behind it. You have the key in your hand. So, what's the next step? Start with just one phrase, whichever one fits your situation best. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be sincere. She might not respond right away. She might need time. And that's completely normal. Every sincere word is a seed you're planting in her heart. And those seeds will grow. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button to help other men who need this. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts or which phrase resonated with you most. I read and respond to every comment because your journey matters to me. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video.